Shit, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it.
I can't.
Oh, I know what happened. All right. Good evening, everybody. Chris and Tiffany here with High Seas Cruising. And welcome to tonight's live video. And we're here to talk about our recent cruise on Royal Caribbean's Voyager of the Seas. We're going to talk about the good. We're going to talk about the bad. And we're going to talk about the ugly. And there was an ugly on the very last day of that cruise. But welcome everybody that's already here. We got Queen Bee, we got Dilly, Angela, Andre, Attila, we got Linda. Everybody is already here and we are ready to go. And Diego. Absolutely, way up there at the top. How is everybody doing tonight? Hopefully everybody's had a really great week. I do have some information I want to share with everybody first. I'm sure you guys saw it. I put a video out while we were cruising talking about the Harmony of the Seas. And it was a question. You know, she was docked. She blew her horn like 5 or 6 times, said, hey, we're leaving, we're leaving, we're leaving. She started to pull away from the dock, and you saw somebody down there on the dock that had missed the ship. And the ship actually came all the way back to the dock to pick this person up. Now, we didn't know why at the time, but I actually got several comments from people that were on that cruise on Harmony of the Seas. And it turns out that person was actually on a Royal Caribbean excursion.
Oh.
So the ship should never have left them to start with. That's one of the deals with you book a ship excursion is the ship doesn't leave you behind. If your excursion runs late or something happens on your excursion. And I've been on an excursion where it's just me. Nobody else took the excursion but me, and so that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely possible. So that's why something you almost never ever see is the ship had to come back to dock. They had to. It was a Royal Caribbean excursion that individual had booked, and the ship was leaving without him. So that answers the question of why they came back. That was all on Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
So if they incurred extra charges or fees or anything like that, that is all on the cruise line, not on the individual that was standing on the dock. So, which is good for them.
Yes.
Because Harmony of the Seas is giant, and it is not, I mean, it's got to cost a few dollars to stop that ship, go back the other way, and then redock. So, and that came in from multiple people that were on the ship, as that were the reason they were told they went back. So there's the answer to that question. And we were going around on Voyager of the Seas, and we came across the chief of security for the ship, and we asked him about it. I said, hey, just kind of curious, don't normally see it. Any idea why Harmony went back? And he was unaware that it even happened.
Yeah, he called the bridge.
He called up to the bridge. He said, you know what? I didn't even know that happened. Let me find out. I want to know. So he called up to the bridge, and the bridge was like, we don't know. But I figured somebody on the ship, had some scuttlebutt, knew something. Figured the ship people talk to each other. But that's the answer to the Harmony of the Seas mystery right there.
Andre wants to know, how many Irish trash cans did we have?
We had 2. We had them both on the same day. The Irish trash can thing, they were delicious. Like I said, they wouldn't leave the can in it. They would just put the Red Bull on the top, and we had to take the recipe up there each time. But every time we did, we found a bartender that was adventurous enough that you're like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's try to make this. Let's see what happens. I think that we went to 2 different bartenders. Both of them did it. They came out great.
Mm-hmm.
The second bartender, I think, did it much closer to the directions, though, because you had that color separation that you were supposed to have. But the first bartender, I don't even know how she did it. She goes like, yeah, the recipe. So I held up my phone, and I just held it up. She goes, okay, thanks, and walked off. Went and took care of another customer. She came back, and she's like, you ready? And I'm like, yeah. And I pulled out the phone. She goes, no, I got it. I said, you looked at that thing for 2 seconds. She's like, I got it. And then she made the drink. And They said she didn't quite get the color thing right, but they tasted the same.
Mm-hmm.
So she got the recipe right, and that alone was super, super impressive. So both those bartenders got their 18% automatic gratuity plus extra each for going above and beyond and doing the extra mile to make us the Irish trash cans. But they were delicious. That was a great recommendation.
Highly recommend to everybody out there an Irish trash can.
But be careful.
Yes, be very careful.
Okay, there is a lot of booze they put in these things. There's gin, there's like vodka, rum. It all goes in there, but you don't taste it all. Okay, once you stir it up, it tastes like a fruity drink. And you don't notice the tons of alcohol that is in that drink. And if you sit there and just keep enjoying those things, you're like, oh, this is nothing. You're going to get up and fall down. Just fair warning. Unless you're a heavy drinker, then maybe you'll be okay.
Mm.
But those things will sneak up on you. But let's jump into the cruise portions. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. Did you enjoy the cruise?
I did.
I did too. Overall, like any cruise is a good cruise. And I do want to say up front that what we think is great, what we didn't like, and what was really bad, these are our opinions. Not everybody may agree, and not everybody will have the same experiences that we had. So I just want to be upfront with that for anybody that's new to the channel, new to the show, things like that. That we're just expressing opinions. It seems like every week we have new names in the comments during the live video, so I want to, make sure. Okay, the chats are keeping up. Okay. So, embarkation. Of course, the embarkation day video is already out. And I can't say it enough times. Every single time I have embarked, especially on Royal Caribbean from Galveston, it is the smoothest, fastest, quickest process to get on a cruise ship, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hands down. We were on the ship by 11:15, 11:20. Oh, no, you know what? It was 11:27 because I remember I talked about it on the video. We had an 11:30 boarding time. We were on the ship at 11:27. And if you look at the embarkation day video, I filmed inside the cruise terminal where the seating is. There's no people in there waiting. Nobody's sitting. Nobody's, in line other than the short little. I mean, we're talking short lines. We didn't wait in line for security. Nothing. You just walk on the ship. So kudos to Royal Caribbean. They have got embarkation down in Galveston. That's a science. I mean, a pure science, and it has got to be so smooth. And that was Tiffany's first time in that Royal Caribbean terminal in Galveston. What'd you think?
It was quick. It was easy. The only waiting we really did was him waiting on me to go to the bathroom.
Absolutely.
So, hello from Pennsylvania, everyone. Chris, did your server sing happy birthday to you?
No, because I wouldn't let Tiffany tell anybody else. We didn't announce it as, it wasn't we didn't put it down as this cruise was a special occasion or a special event because it's still not my birthday yet. Tiffany and those birthday decorations in the cabin was all her.
That was me. He had no idea.
No clue whatsoever until I started filming the cabin tour. And Tiffany goes, you know what? I'm going to go wait in the hallway, which is weird. She never waits in the hallway, but the room was kind of small.
It's one of the smallest rooms we've ever stayed in.
Right. And so I said, okay, kind of makes sense. You just don't want to be right there in everybody's, view of everything in the room. And when it was all said and done filming, I opened up the door and she's out there hanging these decorations outside the cabin door. And at that point, she went nuts, and you guys saw them in the video. They were everywhere. They were on the bathroom mirror. So I think crew-wise, really only the room steward probably knew. So
itinerary changes. I saw that happen a lot with Hurricane Lee.
Yeah, there's quite a few. The recent one, I think it's the Caribbean Princess today, had some itinerary changes. She is heading south along the East Coast, and she's boogieing to get out of the way of Hurricane Lee. I watched it today. It looks pretty good though. Hurricane Lee's turning north, but it is going to go right over Bermuda, and it looks like it's going to make landfall Bar Harbor area up there. So it's going to miss a huge portion of the East Coast, but it looks like it's going to make landfall, but not until it gets all the way up there to Maine in Canada. But still going to be affecting some of those cruises in the area. A lot of those Eastern Caribbean cruises became Western Caribbean cruises. So it's probably a very, very busy weekend in the places we just were at, because they're going to Cozumel and Costa Maya, and now you're adding at least 4 more ships. They're going over there. So patience to anybody going to Cozumel this week. It's going to be busier.
Paul says hello from Mass. Linda says good for you, Tiffany. And Dale says hello. And Angela said, I did the same thing for my hubby's 50th birthday cruise, but my stepmom and I decorated the room and door secretly to surprise him. That was my goal. That was my intention. But on the first day, trying to get Chris out of the room by himself, he's going to know some things that on the first day. Now, towards the end of it, I'm like kicking him out. Go do your thing. But
yeah,
the first day, he would have known something was up.
She sticks pretty close to me on embarkation day. She's on a new ship, and she doesn't know her way around 100% yet. And I don't know, maybe you get a little nervous about being alone on a brand new ship until you kind of get the feel for it. Me, I'll just wander off, and I'll find my way back eventually. So yeah, that makes sense. I would have been like, that's weird. Tiffany normally wouldn't do that. And since we don't repeat ships as a general habit, we've only ever repeated one ship in all of our cruising so far. I get where, she wouldn't wander off by herself on the first day. That would be out of character.
How was the food in the MDR and buffet?
As far as the MDR, we ate in the MDR only one time, and we ate in there for lunch. It was good.
It was good.
Service was good. Food was good. We ate in the buffet most nights. We ate in the buffet. Other than embarkation day, again, I'll refer back to the video. It was super crowded. There was absolutely no place to sit in there. We walked around the buffet 3 or 4 times just trying to find a seat. But apparently that was everybody's very first choice. So we ended up going down to Sorrento, or not Sorrento's, they don't have Sorrento's on that ship, to Cafe Promenade, where the pizza is. And we ended up just having pizza for lunch on that day. But as far as the buffet goes, it was better than most. I'll say this, all the food was hot. All the food was relatively fresh. I've been on some cruises where it's kind of cold and you can tell it's been up there for a while. Mm-hmm. But this one wasn't bad. The best meal, hands down the best meal we ate on the entire ship had to have been at Chops Grill. We went to the steakhouse. We were cruising around, and they stop you and ask you to make a reservation. And the guy stopped us, and he was telling us about it. And I'm like, hey, it's not that I don't want to go to the steakhouse, but look, these T-shirts and basketball shorts is all I brought on this ship. I had no intention of putting on a pair of pants, period. And so I said, this is all the clothes I brought. I don't think I'm appropriate to go to the steakhouse on the ship. And the guy's like, no, you come to the steakhouse. You're fine. Wear what you want to wear. So I agreed that we'd at least go at lunchtime. I don't know. T-shirt and basketball shorts in the steakhouse for dinner does not sound right to me. Again, my opinion. People do you. But for me, it just didn't seem right. So I agreed to at least go to lunch. And that was hands down the best service, the best food, and the best decision we made the whole cruise was going to Chops Grill.
Yes.
It was $30 each, worth every single penny. Complete fans of the Chops Grill Steakhouse, especially for lunch. Tiffany had filet mignon. Mm-hmm. I end up having the steak burger. It's got to be my new favorite burger on Royal Caribbean, hands down. I mean, it blows all of the other burgers I've eaten on a Royal Caribbean ship completely away. So yeah, Chops Grill at lunchtime. It was great. It was quiet. I mean, the the service from our server in there was impeccable service. The bread, they give you bread, and you go in the MDR or you get bread in the buffet, and a lot of times it's hard. It's hard. It's not that fresh out of the oven bread. This stuff in Chops Grill was fresh out of the oven. I mean, just soft. Oh, it was so good. I must have ate like 6 pieces of bread. I find it. Please don't bring me any more bread. I will die in here eating this bread. It is so good.
Angela said they had a good excuse when they decorated, and her dad distracted him, so that's how they pulled it off. Ramona says we were on the same ship in the Windjammer when it tilted.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. That's under the ugly category. We are going to talk about the ship tilt.
Larry said it sounds like you were a party pooper when it came to decorating and stuff.
I don't advertise my birthday. That's weird.
Angela, I love Chops for lunch too.
Yes, so worth it. Highly recommend it.
Linda says shares Chops Grill at lunch is more relaxed and half the price. Our favorite embarkation lunch on RC.
Yeah, it was good. I'm not a huge steak fan. It's just not my favorite meat. And I told the guy, I said, look, I'm not a real fan of steak. Not sure I'm going to enjoy the steakhouse. And he's like, look, you trust me. We have other things you'll eat. We have chicken. I didn't even know they had the burger. Stuff like this. He goes, trust me. You'll like it. He was right. Yeah, that's all I can say is he was right. I was wrong. I will go back to Chops Grill. Totally worth it.
Attila the Fun says, yum. Cody just joined us.
Evening. Welcome to the show.
Attila the Fun said, bread.
Oh, that bread in there. Fresh, hot, warm. One of them was, they called it an onion roll.
And it was kind of shaped like an onion, too.
It was shaped like an onion. And I don't know if that's why they called it that. And the other one was a pretzel roll. And then they give you butter, not cold, not hard. I mean, just spread. Oh.
He could talk about that this whole show.
I can spend a whole hour talking about how good that meal was. For $30, I'm sorry. I was super impressed, and they will get my money next time. They absolutely will get my money. They absolutely earned it. Now moving on, because like I said, we will talk about food all day. We're going to talk about the cabin. So we had a virtual balcony inside cabin. As far as inside cabin goes, I think it's one of the smallest ones that we've ever been in. It was a bit on the small side. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't horrible. But Tiffany and I bumped into each other a couple of times just moving around the cabin. Could have been a little bit bigger.
Yeah. It worked out good for us being a shorter cruise, but you get on those 7-day, 9-day cruises, it
might have been much. And you pay a little bit extra for the virtual balcony. I show it in the videos if you're not familiar with it, but essentially it's a TV that they've turned on its side, they mount it on the wall, and then it shows you a camera view of what's going on outside the ship. In my opinion, it's a novelty for about the first 10 minutes of the cruise, and after that, it's a waste of money. And I don't know why, but it bugs me. The TV was mounted on the back of the cabin facing aft, but the camera showed a picture of the bow, off the bow of the ship. So the picture didn't match the movement of the ship. And that bugged me. And then it flickered, and at nighttime, you had to close the curtains because it glowed all night long, even though there wasn't a picture on it anymore, and it had like a fake balcony. I don't know. I will never get one again.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to me. It was a novel thing, but nothing I'm ever interested in doing again.
Queet Beat said, I had a virtual interior on Symphony. It was very spacious, but my screen didn't always work.
Ours didn't even work the entire last day. So, yeah. It didn't work at all the last day, and it's not like we sat there and looked at it. We looked at it a little bit the first day, and we're like, ooh, look, there's Galveston, because we were still in port. And after that, it was pretty much a big, giant nightlight in the room.
Yeah.
So for the price difference, I would have gotten a room without it, or gotten a bigger inside room that didn't have one. That would have been a better, because we saw another inside room a couple doors down while the room stewards were cleaning. It had a couch in it and everything like that. Ours didn't, just had one little chair, didn't even have a space for a couch. It was still a good cabin. You know, there wasn't anything wrong with the cabin. It just, I would have liked it to be a little bit bigger. The AC was in there, but it's hot outside. That sun is beating down on the ship. Everybody's got that AC cranked as high as it can go. So it does what it can do.
Yeah. We had our little fan with us.
We had our fan with us, and it cooled down in there in the evening, but you could feel it getting a little warm in there during the daytime. Is what it is. Excuse me. It was weird, though. It was probably 4 or 5 degrees cooler in the hallway than it was in our cabin. It was a noticeable difference. You stepped out in the hallway, it was that much cooler. I don't know. You travel during one of the hottest parts of the year in the Caribbean. You kind of expect it, but I don't know. I got really spoiled. The best air conditioner I've ever had on a cruise ship is still the Carnival Ecstasy. Even on her last day, I had to turn that AC off because it tried to freeze me out of the room.
Alien Frequency says, good evening, all.
Good evening. But everything worked in the cabin. Everything was good. You know, it was a cruise cabin. So what else we got, baby? You like the layout of the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you'd been on that type of layout before.
Yeah.
You had been on that before. Just not that specific ship, but you've been on that class before. But what did you think? Do you have anything you stood out to you liked the best?
Not really. I mean, I liked it. It was a good ship.
Is it sitting over there, baby?
Never thought of bringing a fan on a cruise.
Look on the shelf.
Yeah.
Ours is a little tiny USB fan. Tiffany's going to grab it. It's right here in front of us. Yeah, that's ours right there.
Yeah, just a little fan, plugs into the USB. Got it off of Amazon.
Mm-hmm. It's actually, I think it's on our items description. On our Amazon page is where we got that from. Little bitty thing, but it blows the heck out of some air. It moves air. It's USB powered. I think the cruise lines, most of them limited has to be 12 inches or smaller. That one I think is a 9-inch. It's an 8 or a 9-inch fan, but it's one of those turbo tube. It does a great job, and it's super quiet. But you can it makes just enough fan noise if you like to sleep with a fan on at night for the noise. I know that's a Texas thing.
Not necessarily.
It's a Texas thing. Now, I'm not saying no one else in the world does it, but Texans, they got fans. And half the time the fan is on. We have a fan on in the wintertime, even when it's cold, because you can't sleep without the noise. It's like a white noise machine for Texans. In my opinion. At least it is for me. Excuse me, my allergies are driving me crazy.
They don't give you any problems bringing it?
No, you're supposed to have it in your carry-on bag. Half the time I put it in my luggage. They don't ever mess with it. It's too small. They don't care. I mean, you try to bring something big, something giant.
Don't try and bring a box fan.
Yeah, like a big old giant box fan or something like that. Yeah, they're probably going to get you. But that little fan right there, they never mess with me about it. It's below their minimums. I said, are their maximums 12 inches? That's like an 8 or 9 inch. Blows perfect amount of air. Gets both Tiffany and I, because we put it over by the TV. I plug it into my pack. my USB pack that's plugged in, and it blows across the whole bed. So, but they never mess with us. Nope. They don't mess with us about our fan.
The only thing they've ever messed with us about is our
power strips.
Power strip.
But I explained that one when that was happening. Older ships have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
Older ships have a hard time with multiple power options and stuff like that. But the ship was good. The ship was clean. Crew was taking good care of it. It was well maintained. Only thing about the ship, the only thing that bugged me was the lack of the Coca-Cola freestyle machines, the self-service soda machines on board the ship. Now, this ship had just been in dry dock 2 years ago, so I'm not sure why it's rolling around without them. And to me, that's the big perk of getting the soda package on Royal Caribbean. And one of the only ships that Tiffany will get the soda package on, because you can get juice. You can get Powerade in there. You can get different kinds of juices, different flavors of juice. You can get water. On top of all the soda that you can get in there, and you can get it 24 hours a day. To me, that is a plus. To me, that makes the soda package worth it. And why they weren't on a ship that was in dry dock just a couple of years ago kind of makes me wonder. And I get up early, and drink places to get something to drink don't open as early as I get up, and that always bugs me. And they still give you the goofy cup, but you don't need it.
That's our alien frequency. There's 47 other people watching. Why am I the only one talking? Queetbeat asked if they took your power strip. No, not this time, but they have before.
They did it to me on
Disney.
Disney did it once, and there was one other one. You weren't with me.
No.
So that might have been Radiance of the Seas.
Was it Radiance or Ecstasy?
It was one of those. So you can go on Amazon and you can buy a cruise approved power strip. They can't be surge protectors. They have to just be power strips. But older cruise ships, these cruise ships that are, almost 20 years old or 20 years and older, even those ships cannot handle those kind of power strips because they have multiple, 3-prong plugs in them and multiple USB ports. And the electrical engineers on the ship are the ones that don't want them on board because it overtaxes the electrical system. The ships were just never built and designed for all of the modern technology we use. Now, you go on a newer cruise ship, they'll never hiccup about them at all, as long as they're not surge. But the only time we've ever had a power strip problem is on the older ships where the circuitry on board the ship just can't handle it. And so I've got a second power strip that's just USB ports, nothing but USB ports, and that can go on the older ship. It's the ones that have the multiple, 3-prong plugins. The older ships, they just don't like them.
Just Cody says, a little fan goes a long way. I took one and rigged it from the ceiling above my bed on Carnival Vista once. They never had an issue. Around USB type fan.
I saw a picture of someone who had their fan hanging over their bed on a Carnival cruise, hanging up there from those magnets. Please don't tell me you're the reason why they were taking everybody's magnets away from people in Florida. Because there was a picture and they took people's magnets away over that.
Yeah. Alien Frequency says, do you call it soda or pop in Texas? It's pop in Ohio. Either way, pop is bad for you. We call it soda. And Chris drinks soda, but I do not.
It's bad for me. My energy drinks are bad for me. But you know what? I'm 50, or I'm going to be 50, and I'm going to make myself happy. When I die, I'm going to look dead.
California Linda shares, our fan is USB charged for several hours with 3 speed levels, and its size is the same as a small tablet, 8 by 5 and 2 inches thick. It also recharges quickly.
Yeah, ours doesn't recharge. It's just straight USB, and it's got, well, I guess just how far you turn the knob is how fast it goes. So it's a variable speed, I guess, is the way to put it. Turn the knob more, it goes faster. Turn the knob down, it goes slower.
What's another fun said? It's Coke no matter what it is. Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. Now, it is my weird fetish, though. I don't drink dark soda. I don't like dark soda. Dark soda bothers my stomach for some reason. I think it's that heavier syrup, maybe. So I only like clear sodas. So I'll drink a Sprite, a 7-Up, and I'll drink a Mountain Dew Zero. And that's pretty much it.
Just Cody says, I sure hope not. They never asked me to take it down or anything, but it wasn't that rigged like the one I've seen once in a while back.
Yeah, so you saw the same one I saw. That thing was rigged up. Of course, I've seen other crazy stuff too. Someone had their home theater, one of those projectors in their cabin, and hung a sheet from wall. There's all kinds of crazy photos. I don't know who spent that much time in their cabin, but yeah. So I would say that was probably my one issue with the ship is not having those drink machines. That's a pet peeve of mine. I paid for a drink package. I want, and at least the non-alcoholic part, I want to be able to get it when I'm thirsty, not when the cruise ship feels like working.
Yeah.
So if I'm thirsty at 3 a.m., I want to have access to a drink at 3 a.m. That's me, my opinion.
And I didn't like that part of it because I wound up drinking soda or Sprite or water. Well, I drink water anyway. I drink a lot of Sprite.
Because you have to go to the bar to get a drink, but the bar doesn't have the drinks that the machine has in it. So Tiffany couldn't get her peach. What the heck are you drinking all
It was
this?
a peach Minute Maid.
Yeah, she drinks a peach Minute Maid that comes out of that machine. She drinks the heck out of that stuff. She can't get it at the bar. And no offense to the bartenders, because she was telling one of the bartenders she can't get her juice, and he was like, "Okay, what kind of juices are you looking for? What do you like that I can somehow come up with?" And so if he had a juice, she was drinking different apple juices and orange juices and stuff that they had behind the bar. He was hooking her up, but it wasn't her peach Minute Maid. And she couldn't get it whenever she wants.
I do the fan in mass 24/7. Says Who Paul.
Yeah, gotta have that fan. I like the air moving, and it's the white noise that makes me sleep.
Yeah.
Just that fan noise. And you'll know it. You know when that fan stops running. You know?
Yeah, you see the memes, especially here in Texas, tornado goes over, thunderstorm, car wreck, sleep right through all of that. That fan shuts off and you're wide awake.
Yeah, the power trips in the middle of the night from a storm. It's not the storm that woke you up. It's the fact your fan turned off and you're like, hey, where's my fan? That noise goes away. It bugs you. It really, really bugs you. All right, so then our first stop was in Costa Maya, Mexico. Costa Maya stop this time was a little bit interesting. I feel like the prices in Costa Maya went up in the cruise port.
It was crazy. I picked up a shot glass and a keychain, and the guy said, that's $30. I said, for what?
Yeah, she wasn't happy about that price. Because we didn't leave the cruise port in Costa Maya. We actually did the aviary, the bird excursion that's in the cruise port. I liked it.
I liked it until he started swinging the ropes bridges, and
she doesn't like rope bridges, and it's all rope bridges above the cruise port. There may be video of me jumping up and down on the rope bridges and her threatening, me. There's a possibility there's some video of that.
Alien Frequency said, do the USB fans have a battery then, or is it just powered by USB? I'll have to look into those for my next cruise.
There's two different kinds. So you can get them with a battery in them. They charge up, and then you can unplug them and they run on the battery. And those charge by USB. The one we have is just straight powered by USB. So it has to be plugged in the whole time that it's working. So for us, like I said, I plug it in over there where my camera's charged. I put it usually by the TV because, the TV will angle and face the bed. So it's usually the closest I can get it to the bed. crank it up, and it always has worked good for us.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get either kind, so it's whatever you want. Excuse me. If you want to put it on the nightstand closer to your head at night, then you're going to want to get a rechargeable one, because so many cruise ships don't have USB ports right by the bed. So that's really where you want to place it depends on it. I don't like the rechargeable ones, not because they don't work, but if I forget to charge it, or I'm sleeping in really late, I want to know that my fan's going to work from the time I turn it on till the time I wake up. And so direct power is just my go-to. Not that there's anything wrong with either.
Attila the Fun says, I'm weird. I drink black coffee hot, but don't hardly ever drink dark soda. I'll get energy drinks or Gatorade instead.
Yeah, I like energy drinks, and I like Powerades. Yeah. I like the Powerade Zeros.
Cece, hi Cece, welcome. Was the rooms clean?
Yes.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, we've never had an issue with our room stewards not keeping the rooms clean.
Mm-mm. And we always tell ours, whenever it's convenient for you, clean them, because we'll just get out. It's no big deal for us.
Yeah, we work hand in hand with our room stewards every chance we get. We met ours on embarkation day. Right up front, I gave him an extra tip up front. I'm like, hey, when you get a moment, can you put a mattress topper on our bed? For us, Royal Caribbean has some very hard beds, so we always ask for a mattress topper. Tip him a little extra up front. Let him know that we're not asking. We're not demanding service. We're asking and willing to compensate you for it type of situation. And then he talks about cleaning his room, and like Tiffany said, we just tell him, look, you clean our room when it works for your schedule, morning, afternoon, whatever. If we're in the room, knock on the door, we'll leave. You can clean it. It's not an issue for us. And we've never had a problem with the room steward. Mm-mm. Ever.
Alien says sometimes they have USB ports on the lamps on the nightstands, but not always. We always have that little extra one.
Well, they're talking about like on beside the beds.
But we always have that one where we can plug 2 or 3 of them in.
Right, but you missed the whole part of that conversation. I said that if you're going to put it on the nightstand, it's rechargeable, because you can't count on that.
I got all that. You charge it first, then recharge as needed. It takes less space, and I have even used it on flights where I needed more circulating air.
That makes sense. I said everybody's got their way. Their way. I got this one. I'm happy with it. I don't mess with it. Yeah. It does exactly what I want it to do, and if the wheel ain't broke, I'm not going to try to fix it, because my luck, I'll get something else and go, look, here's this, and then I'll hate the whole thing. And I guess I'm weird like that. I like the original of almost everything. Mm-hmm. They make a drink and they put out the original, and it's great. And then they try to add 40 flavors to it, and I don't like any of them. I'll drink the original. I think it drives Tiffany nuts, because I won't. Once I like something, I like the original version of it, and I don't change from it. And I never like the new ones, do I?
No.
So I'm kind of the same way. I got my original fan. I'm good with it. I'm happy with it. And I probably will never move off of it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty loyal to what I like. Pretty low. But back to Costa Maya. Yeah, it does seem like the prices in Costa Maya were much higher there this time in the port than they were when we were there last year.
Yeah.
I want to say we were there at least last year, and they just seemed like they were way higher. We stopped for lunch, a little Mexican restaurant in the port now, mind you, and I know prices in the ports are definitely higher than they are outside of the port. But we stopped for lunch. We had 2 drinks and a little thing of tacos, and it was like $70.
$72 for, he had 2 tacos, I had 2 tacos, and we each had a drink, and it was $72.
No, it was 4 tacos each.
Oh.
But they're like street tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, a little plate of tacos each, 1 drink each, $40. $70. That's pretty high. That's pretty high for the difference of what you get there versus what you get, I think, in Cozumel. So, and then, like I said, Tiffany went in there for a shot glass and one keychain, and the guy was like $30, and she was just like, for what? I got a shot glass and a keychain, and she's like, I'm not paying $30, and magically it didn't cost $30 no more. So she got her shot glass and her keychain, and did not pay $30 for it.
No.
So it did seem like the prices were a little higher in Cozumel. Normally, up there at the front, they got like they got the pool. The pool's free to use. This time the pool, and on the video on Sunday, I have video of the pool from when we were up in the aviary. The pool was dirty. I mean, it was not, I mean, you couldn't see the bottom. It was dirty for a swimming pool. And then we were going to go swim in the up front section. They got like a little area with the bar and everything up there. But they were wanting to charge for the chairs, and they weren't charging for the chairs last year.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Costa Maya wasn't quite what we expected, except for the aviary tour. Now, that one it's in the port. It's $14 each. And you walk around rope bridges, and you go in all these different bird sections. If you've never done it, the birds in there are so personable. They pose for pictures. And like I said, you'll see it all in the video on Sunday. It'll be Costa Maya. But these birds, they talk to you. They chirp at you. They will fly and land on you. You pull out the camera, and they will they pose for you to take pictures. These birds were hilarious. Yes. You walk right over the dolphin section, so you are just looking right down on top of the dolphins swimming around. It was worth the $14. Mm-hmm. It really was. It was fun. It takes a little bit to get through it. It's actually quite long. It's bigger and longer than I thought it was, because parts of it go inside buildings and then come back out in different sections. And it does give you a nice overview from the top of the cruise port.
Mm-hmm. Now, we also got those street tacos in Costa Maya too, right?
Now, that was a whole different story, because those were good.
Those were really good.
Yeah, I will say it too, because that place we paid $70 for, I wasn't even full when we left. So we were walking around, and we got near the walk to the back of the port, like you're fixing to head out to catch a cab, catch a bus, something like that. There's a little taco place there on the right. All they do is serve tacos. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to stop. I'm going to get another taco there. Go there. Those tacos were good. Good. A little spicier than Tiffany likes.
Oh, they were way spicier than I like.
But they were delicious and completely worth it.
Got you to eat guacamole too.
That was an accident.
The aviary sounds really cool. It really was.
It really was. And like I said,
take your time through there, so you can spend a few hours in there if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's all self-guided. They don't mess with you. It wasn't crowded up there. There was only like one other family even up there when we went through there, and they were further down, so we only saw them like one time when they were watching dolphins.
Yeah.
And and so it's all self-guided. You can stroll through all day. You can stop and bounce on the bridges and make Tiffany mad for hours on end. But that video will be out on Sunday if you guys want to take a look at some of those birds, because they were super personable.
California Linda shares they're looking forward to Sunday's vlog. They've never been to Costa Maya.
It's a nice cruise port. I always thought it was a real nice cruise port. If you don't have an excursion and you don't want to go into town, it's got a lot in it. Like I said, you can do a dolphin encounter there. It's got 2 swimming pools. It's got like a seawater swimming one up front, a little beach area, chairs, multiple restaurants. There's chocolate museum in there.
You get a massage in there. You can have fish eat your feet.
Yeah, fish eat your feet. You can do the massage. They got all kinds of stuff right in the cruise port. You don't even have to leave. It's always been one of our favorite ones for not having to go real far. And just this last time, it was just kind of
disappointing.
A little bit. Hopefully it's not a trend. Hopefully it was just a one-off.
A Attila says, I think I saw that place, never tried them. They're the ones that they have the flamingos down in the bottom in the pool.
Is she talking about the aviary or the tacos?
Don't know. But the tacos were good too. And right next to the taco place, they have the Mayan nut hut with the nuts. Oh my goodness, those were so good.
Yeah, you can get all kinds of good food to eat
Pumpkin
in there.
seeds, cashews, all of that candied stuff. It was really good. It was a good price too for that because you got 3 bags for $20. That was good.
Yeah, you can get gelato in there. You can get chocolate in there. You can, like I said, that's one of the cruise ports. You can get just about everything in the port.
Mm-hmm.
There's activities to do right in the port. Mostly free activities. Just watch some of the sit-down restaurants in the port. They're getting a little pricey.
They also had the Mayan rain, or where they off the pole. They swung off the pole.
Oh yeah, the Mayan fertility dance.
Yeah. Attila said they stopped at the little tequila bar and had some tequila shots instead.
I'm gonna tell you guys a tequila story.
Might have been a bad idea, but good tequila.
Yeah, we had a tequila story this trip too.
Well, wait till we get to Cozumel to tell that.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it there for Costa Maya. Then said we got back on the ship, relaxed. It was hot, it was humid, you were sweating, but it was still a good day.
Did I hear you right? Fish eat your feet. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You've
never seen that? They got the tanks and they got these little fishes in there, and you just stick your feet in there, and the fish eat all the dead skin off your feet.
Yep. You pay for the fish to
eat your feet. Yep. And there's always people just sitting there, and the fish. You just watch the fish. They eat the dead skin. It's like a fish pedicure, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that pedicure when they take the calluses off your feet?
Yeah.
Yep. So fish eat your feet. Look, you can Google it. It's basically you just stick your feet in a fish tank.
It tickles. It doesn't actually hurt or anything like that.
Oh yeah, the fishes are like,
yeah,
they're like little bitty fishes.
Stephanie, hey there. From our cruise on the Discovery Princess, your tips and videos really helped us out a lot. On a sad note, I returned with COVID and it was awful. I am just now starting to feel better. Well, I'm glad you had a great trip, but I'm so sorry about the COVID.
I am too. And I'm glad everything we showed you about Discovery was helpful. That is our actual goal is, our whole screen just went weird.
Alien said, hell no, that's horrific.
Everybody to their own. I've never done it, but I'm sure I could use it.
They're about the size of, minnows?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're little bitty things.
We'll be going to Costa Maya in January on the Jubilee. Looking forward to your video.
Awesome. Yep. Well, so we just kind of show around, show what we did. It is a nice port, and it is a pretty port. I said, the prices were just a bit wonky this last time.
I'm going to not Google fish eating people's feet.
That's true. You could get something weird if you put that in. You know what? Watch the video on Sunday. I do have a clip of people getting their feet cleaned by the fish.
Yes.
So, and the foot is still there. But that was Costa Maya. Overall, good day.
And we saw first, because that was at Costa Maya, that the ship pulled away. And that big old ship backing up like a car, that was interesting to watch. And then watching it pull right back in. We are actually going to be taking a cruise out of Galveston on Harmony next year, so would be interested to see how that cruise port operates since we've never cruised from there as well.
It's nice. They got a nice dock. It's a walk right up in there. It's very easy to navigate.
Dilly said, these skin-eating fish for your feet, are they baby piranhas?
No. I guess they only eat dead skin, and apparently they only tickle. I've never actually stuck my feet in there.
No, I don't really like getting pedicures, so I don't know that I don't like a person touching my foot. I don't know that I'd want a fish eating my foot.
30 fish.
Well, yeah, it's like 30.
There's a bunch of fish in the tank. It's not like one fish. It's like a school of fish. was a school of fish.
Yes.
All right, so the next day we went to Cozumel, Mexico. Cozumel is always a good stop, in my opinion.
Yes.
It was always a good stop, and we decided we were going to do something new. So I talked Tiffany into doing the underwater sea trek, and that's the one where you wear the big helmet on your head and you walk along the ocean bottom.
Now that big helmet is a 75-pound helmet.
It is a 75-pound helmet, but you get all the way in the water. You go up to the edge, and you start to go down this ladder until basically the water's up to right about here. And then they set this helmet on your head, so you're only going to hold the weight of the helmet for just a second.
Yeah.
And as soon as you go underwater, it drops down to maybe 20 pounds is about all you'll feel. Then you climb this ladder down to the bottom of the ocean. It's about 20 feet down. And you essentially just walk in a big circle under there. They got a rope, and you hold on to the rope, and you walk around on the bottom of the ocean floor looking at the fish and everything. It was really cool.
Alien Frequency says, I'm with Tiffany. I don't want my feet touched. I don't want to touch other people's feet. I don't like feet.
Yeah, I don't want to touch other people's feet either. So, you know what? Now I'm going to let the fish do it, though. Curiosity is going to kill me. I'm going to have to stick my feet in the fish thing and then film it because now I'm just utterly curious. So the underwater sea trek, and it was really cool. I took video the whole time we were down there. They were taking video of us while we were down there. I've got both, so that one's going to be really cool to show, how it was underwater and everything. And the fish were just right there. At one point, they were bumping against my camera. I couldn't very well let go of the rope and follow the fish, but
no foot touchy, nope.
And you did have to hold on to the rope. I will say that. That current is just enough.
Did you book the excursion with RC? Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Yes, we did. It was $129 per person. They pick us up at, you catch the excursion right there in the port. They put us in a cab that they paid for. They take you over to, it's kind of like a dive center, but it's got a restaurant, little gift shop, restaurant, and a bar. And we'll talk about the bar here after. And the first thing you do is you have to go through an instruction class first. They pump air in. So on the back of your helmet, there's actually an air hose that goes up to the surface, and it's really long, and they have someone up there that controls the air hoses. It's really organized. They had this down pretty pat. I never had an issue, but it pumps air into the thing, and it just sits on your shoulders.
And because of the pressure, because our faces never got wet, I wore my glasses the whole time with this helmet on. My hair stayed dry. So
yeah, your head never gets wet.
It's kind of like science, you put the helmet on as you're getting in the water, and it creates that air bubble, and then they're pumping oxygen into that air bubble, so you're breathing normal the whole time. Now they do tell you not to lift your head or sideways. You got to kind of stay looking straight. You can move your head around, but you don't want to move your neck around.
You can't move the helmet. So the helmet sits on your shoulders. And I said, once you're underwater, it's not super heavy. It's maybe like 20 pounds. It's a 75-pound helmet, but once you're underwater, it doesn't weigh 75 pounds anymore. It's buoyant. You don't have to wear any weights or anything like that because the helmet is heavy enough to put you on the bottom. But the current from the ocean is enough that you have to hold on to the rope. Now, you have to keep the helmet upright. But like I said, the helmet is not on your neck or anything like that. So as long as you keep your shoulders straight and pretty much the whole front of the helmet is clear. Even the top part right here is clear. So you can move your head around like this and look and everything like that. You just can't move your shoulders. If you move your shoulders forward, the water will start coming up in the front of the helmet because you've changed the pressure. And if it does, all you do is put your shoulders back straight and it pushes it out and equalizes it. It's not hard at all.
Good point. I have to wear glasses. I can't see that far without it. I wore mine the whole time.
Yep. Nope. You keep your glasses on your head. No issues, no problems. You have to wear water shoes. We had ours, but for the folks that didn't have water shoes, they even provide them.
And the excursion itself, it was a little class. We only had 5 other people with us, so there was 7 of us total.
Right, and they can't take any more than that. They don't have the helmets.
No.
So you're not going to get over there and be 30, 40, 50 people. It's small, but you do have to go to a class. You have to go about a 30-minute class. They explain the helmet, how you're going to feel, this and that. Now, there is a side effect to doing this excursion that may not affect everybody, but it has hit Tiffany and I. Our ears didn't equalize correctly. And we are still having pressure problems. Our ears won't pop even here right now. They're trying to, and occasionally, but they still haven't cleared. If you have any kind of allergy issues, they say it can take almost a week or a few days longer even than for your ears to actually clear. The chewing gum, swallowing, hold your nose and blowing is not helping a whole lot. So if you got ear issues, and they give you a whole list of medical questions you have to answer, and if you put yes on any of them, they pull you aside and they're going to talk to you about it. There was a lady with us on the excursion that had ear surgery like 50 years ago, and they pulled her aside and had her explain it before they would even let her do the excursion. So they take that shit real seriously. But yeah, our ears are popping a week later. That's got to be the only negative about that.
Yeah.
Is that pressure equalization.
But it is a ship tour or excursion through Royal.
Yeah, it's called Underwater
Sea
Trek Helmet Diving. And you'll see a picture on front of it. And like I said, you'll see it in our video. You just wear a big white fishbowl on your head. Basically with a hose sticking out of the back for your air. You just breathe normal. They'll tell you, just breathe like you're on land. Mm-hmm. And it works a lot like a diving regulator. Because every time you exhaled, the bubbles came out. And so it's just kind of like a diving regulator that's not in your mouth. So, and I thought that would be a good start. I'm trying to get Tiffany to consider going further than snorkeling, but she's not ready to scuba dive or to learn to scuba dive yet. So I figured something that didn't get her head wet, didn't mess with her. She could still walk along the bottom, not be on the surface. It would be a good first step into the underwater experiences. Mm-hmm. You know, and if she could get through this, that could build some more confidence. Because you were nervous.
I was scared. I almost backed out.
She didn't, but I kept telling her, I said, you're going to be fine. You're going to do great. She always gets nervous. And she always does exceptionally well at everything she does. She's been like this for years and years and years. You just got to get her to do it, and then she's fine. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, especially it was hot. That water felt so good. The fish were just right there. I mean, they're touching your legs, and it was awesome.
They weren't eating our feet, though.
They were not eating our feet.
We had shoes on.
Yeah, we had shoes on. But it was a really cool excursion. It takes about 30 minutes to walk the circle. And they stop and they take pictures of you. And they got like some rock formations and stuff. And you stand by the rock. It's like posing on land for pictures. And they snap your pictures, of course, because they want to sell you the photo opportunities at the end.
And they got us. So the photos, to buy the photos, it's $45. And for the video, it was $65. But they gave us a digital copy of all the photos plus 8-minute video.
Yeah. And I'll be sharing the video with everybody. I want to edit it a little bit because it has the entire group in it. And so I'm going to edit some of that out simply because I don't have their permission to show everybody that. And I don't know if they want their underwater adventure blasted all over the internet, but there's plenty of Tiffany and I in that video, so I'll show all that.
But yeah, it was a really good excursion. And you get 2 free drinks.
That's the next part. So when you're done, you get out, you get 2 free drinks that come with your excursion. They got the bar right there. So we went over there, sat down, and we went ahead and ordered the margaritas. And they were very, very good. and they were very, very strong.
Will we be posting any videos of the excursion? Of course.
Absolutely. Like I said, I took video, they took video. I have their copies. I have my copies. Absolutely going to be posting that.
Attila the Fun says, well, wife is against it. She says it sounds like torture. Laugh out loud. She's not a fan of swimming in deep water in the first place. Okay, I will tell you, I am deathly afraid of water. I don't like water. I don't like my face getting wet. It terrifies the snot out of me. So for me to walk 20 feet underwater, it was not bad at all. It was actually, I don't know the right word to use, but for me, it was good. I know what I'm trying to say. I can't spit it out. But coming from somebody that doesn't like swimming, especially in deep water, I don't know what my fear is exactly, but it didn't bother me. You kind of forget that you're down there because you're looking at all the fishies and stuff like that, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that you're calm. They're constantly checking on you. They teach you the signs, and there's 2 or 3 of them down there with you. And if you want to go up at any time, they tell you, just tell us. And
you give them this symbol right here.
Yeah, you give them that symbol right there, and that means I want to go up, and
Yep.
They immediately get you out of there.
Yeah, no, the excursion team, the dive team that is with you, at least the ones that were with us, were absolute professionals. Absolute professionals. They are constantly like, "Are you okay?" Because this means I'm okay. In their underwater. You okay? You're okay. And I'm like, "Yep, I'm good."
And they knew I was scared to death. They knew the lady behind me was scared to death. The lady behind me didn't know how to swim. And so they were constantly checking on us. And so, I mean, I felt perfectly fine down there. Mm-hmm. I think my only complaint is my ear after the fact.
Yep. It's walking. You don't do any swimming. You're just going to walk underwater. So, like I said, it is probably not for everybody, and I'm definitely going to show tons of video about it and everything we did on it. I've got my camera was on the entire time I was under there. So I've got a lot. They did a lot to show from, what we look like doing it versus, what I saw. Be able to show you guys both so you can kind of get a feel of it. Even them putting the helmet on and taking the helmet off. I've got video of that they took. Yeah. So you'll be able to see all the parts of it and everything like that. You'll be able to see the hoses on the top and everything like that for anybody that is curious about it. And like I said, Tiffany's right. The lady who was behind Tiffany said up front, I don't even know how to swim. And she still went right through that excursion because it's all walking. It's just walking 20 feet underwater.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not a big fan of being that far underwater, like Tiffany was not at the beginning of this excursion, it can seem very daunting. And now she's happy and she's a pro. Except minus this ear popping thing. So hopefully that goes away in a couple of days.
Yeah. Sandra says, hi, hope y'all are doing well. Can't wait to see the video of the underwater excursion.
It will definitely be coming probably next Tuesday.
Sounds like fun. I'd like to see fishies or a turtle as long as they aren't nibble.
No, you're going to see the Sardin major fishes, which are the black, white, and yellow ones. I don't know what the big gray ones are called. There's a pretty good sized gray one. You see the
blue ones.
The blue one. I mean, they're so colorful. They're so pretty.
And there's trying to get coral reefs regenerated and growing there too, so you can see all of that as well.
Right. Yeah, you get to see the coral reef projects that they have going on to regrow coral reef. All kinds of things like that. So they're into the conservation, and like I said, they were absolute professionals about this entire experience. There was no playing around. There was no, joking when it came to safety and seriousness. And they were constantly checking everybody in the group. You have multiple divers with you, and they're not wearing the helmets. They're actual scuba diving. They got the tanks. the whole 9 yards, so they can move freely, take you, grab you, whatever they need to do, get you to the surface immediately.
We've done glass bottom boats.
I've seen those, but I am the must be in the water with the fish guy. I don't want to see the fish. I want to be in the water with the fish. That's just me. If there's a chance to jump in the ocean, I'm in it.
Yeah, they aren't the same as being in the water with them.
Nope, not for me. If I had to look at them through the bottom of a boat and I could not get in with them, that would just drive me nuts. That would drive me nuts. Tiffany, tell you the first thing I always want to do. There's the fish. I want to get in.
Yeah, we were walking to the port at
Costa
Maya, and there was fish. He could see the fish, and he's like, "All right, I'm going in." No, you're not.
Security's chasing me off from the edge of the pier.
But yeah, so the name of the restaurant that all of this is tied to is Jenny's.
Jenny's.
And so we got our 2 free drinks each.
And they make the good Mexico margaritas, and they were very, very strong. That bartender was very proud of how strong his margaritas were.
I had to order food after 2 sips.
And I got video too. Tiffany said, I'll have some guacamole and some chips.
Oh my gosh.
You think, you get a little bowl of guacamole and some chips, right? No, Tiffany got a platter of guacamole. I mean, an entire platter. Yes. And was just sitting over there, just double scooping.
And for the platter of guacamole, it was only like $12.
Yeah, very reasonably priced. We each drank, I drank my 2 margaritas. Tiffany drank about a 1.5 margaritas, and then I drank the rest of her second one. And unfortunately, so when that video comes out and we get to the part where in the restaurant,
we're a little giggly.
It gets real giggly at that point. We are not big drinkers. And those margaritas settled in a nice, happy place. So there's quite a bit of giggling in these videos, starting from the margarita drinking on. Because we left there because the whole excursion is
2 hours.
2 hours. Excuse me. So we still had plenty of time in Cozumel. So we went back to the cruise port and decided we were going to go to lunch. So we went across the street and to El Chiles.
El Chilo or something like that.
Yeah, and I've got the name of it. But we went there last time we were in Cozumel. We went and saw our waiter Roberto over there. He swears he remembers this. Tiffany's not so sure he does. But we were there this year. I mean, we were only there a few months ago. It wasn't even last year. It was a few months ago. But he saw us. He was like, they're mine. And we had more fishbowl drinks, those fishbowl size drinks over there. So we were pretty toasty by the time we were heading back to the cruise ship. But overall, Costa Maya was
Cozumel.
Yeah, Cozumel was a really, really great day. Cozumel is always a great day. I know we go there a lot, but man, I love that place.
Yes.
I love that place. I love the people. And like I said, it's always a new adventure. We've never been to Jenny's. We've never done the underwater helmet trek. I mean, there's still a ton of excursions we haven't done in Cozumel. So we're going to be going back to Cozumel, and I cannot recommend Cozumel enough. But yeah, we go to our restaurant over there. We get the giant fishbowl drinks.
Tacos.
We get tacos. You get chips. You get all the fixins and everything like that.
It was $40.
And you walk out, it's $40. So, and you are full.
I ate one taco and couldn't eat anymore.
Good, because she ate all the guacamole.
I ate all the guacamole before
I had to eat 7 tacos because Tiffany ate one of her 4. And I was not going to let all those tacos go to waste. So I had to eat 7 tacos. That's your fault.
We didn't eat dinner that night.
Yeah, we did not eat dinner on the ship that night, by the way.
No.
But Cozumel, like I said, Cozumel, awesome. Always awesome in Cozumel. And we were the only ship there from Royal Caribbean that day.
Yes, there was 2 Carnival ships and then us.
Yeah, 2 Carnival ships, but the Carnival port
It's
is separate from the Royal Caribbean port, and then there's a third port down the way for where you'll see like your Norwegian, your Disney, your MSCs go down to that port down there. So the cruise port was not crowded. It's nice. But listen, we always leave the port in Cozumel and go wandering off in Cozumel.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I always feel safe there. The people are always friendly, helpful. Can't say enough good things about Cozumel. So that was good.
Yes.
Back on the ship, and then a sea day. Of course, sea day heading back. And that last sea day, that was the ugly. Now, absolutely no fault of Royal Caribbeans. No fault of our captains. Because the whole day, the entire Friday, and we even mentioned it on, talking about it, the sea was like glass.
It was pretty much like glass the entire cruise. 7 tacos, they'd have to roll me back on the ship in a stretcher.
They almost did.
But that sounds really good.
Yeah, I mean, now remember, there are little street tacos about this big.
Yeah.
But
they're not big tacos.
But still, 7 of them is a lot of tacos. And then a fishbowl drink. To hold a drink, takes 2 hands.
Yes.
To get those drinks in. They don't, and that's the small.
And the straws that are this big around.
Yeah, the straws are this big around, so you can really get a good, tug on that tequila. And when you're not a drinker, and we've been drinking Irish trash cans, the same day we had Irish trash cans, we had mimosas at the Crown and Anchor Society party. Then we have drinks in Costa Maya. Then we go to Cozumel and end up with margaritas, and then fish bowls.
Yeah.
I was done drinking. We did not drink on the last sea day.
No.
We had enough.
I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah. But the whole Friday, that whole sea day, the ocean is just smooth. I mean, exceptionally smooth.
Eerily smooth.
Eerily smooth. And so we go to dinner. We're up in the buffet. And we sit down to eat. And we'd only been eating 5 minutes or so. And the ship just starts to tilt to the left. And it's just a little bit at first. And Tiffany's like, we're tilting. I'm like, yeah. And then it's more. And then it's more. And I don't know. I don't know the exact number because, it always feels worse than it probably really is. But I swear we had to have been over a good 40 degrees tilted over. 40 to 45 degrees. And as soon as that ship hit that sideways, it was about like this. Just all the food, all the plates, all the tray, stuff on our table just went boom and started heading for the other side of the ship. And it was just like a little bit, and then whoa, over it went.
And I kept telling him there's water in the window.
Because it was
he's like, they're supposed to be. I'm like, no, you don't understand. There's no horizon. It's just water. And we're on the 11th deck. So we're pretty high up, and all you see is water. It's a little scary.
She was looking down. I was looking up.
He saw sky. I saw water.
Now that it's all done and over with, let me finish the story, and then I'll get to the funny parts that I think are hilarious now. So yeah, the ship did that. First, no noise, no warning. You didn't hear any sounds, banging, nothing. The ship just tilted. My first thought was that one of the stabilizers had malfunctioned. Because we're clipping along, we're doing almost 20 knots. One of those stabilizers wonks out. It'll dip that side of the ship real quickly.
Attila the Fun says, I love it when it's that smooth, but no, don't like that tilting. Time to change underpants for sure. Yes.
There were people that probably did. And I feel bad for some of those people because people were crying and they panicked and they ran. They ran towards the water. That's a whole nother story. But at first I thought it was a stabilizer issue because there was no other issue or warning. nothing. And it all made sense at the time, but it got just a little bit worse because one of the things the captain immediately did was he hooked a left-hand turn. And that was to get, so it turned out it was a wind. It was just wind. Hit the smack on the side of that ship. And, they're pretty much flat. And when that high sudden gust of wind hit the side of the ship, it pushed it over. So what the captain did was make an immediate left turn, hard left turn. I mean, full rudder at 20 knots. That ship went, whoa, over there. But that was to get the wind off the side and to get it on the stern. And as soon as he did, the ship righted right back up. And weirdly, the sea got rough after that.
Mm-hmm.
But up until the time that wind hit, the sea was smooth as glass. Never seen anything like it. Never had a ship dip over like that. And like I said, never even heard the wind. But it threw every ounce of water out of the pools. All the water hit the deck and then came inside the ship. It was coming in the buffet. There was food everywhere. There was plates everywhere. The crew was blocking everything off that they possibly could. Tiffany's wanting to help pick up dishes. They're basically trying to shoo us out. They closed deck 11 altogether. You couldn't go outside. You couldn't do anything. They closed down on deck 4. They closed it off down there. They essentially were not letting people go outside because it threw stuff everywhere on the decks. They said the pool water was everywhere. It made a huge old mess. I felt bad. The crew had to have been cleaning all night long because it got up the next morning and you never would have knew it happened. Not a clue on the ship that it ever had. Pools were refilled. Everything was back clean. You never would have knew it happened. But it scared people because they panicked. They ran. They were screaming. There were people that just never been through something like that. They were crying. An hour after it happened, we found a poor lady down in the casino. She was crying because it affected her that way. And don't get me wrong, that ship tilted. And Tiffany swears she didn't, but Tiffany took off running towards the water. I'm like, well, if we're going to run, let's not run towards the wet. Let's run towards the dry. But Tiffany just took off to the water. I'm like, where are you going, baby? It's funny now.
No, it's not.
It wasn't funny at the time, but it was funny now.
Y'all sailed into a little cluster of storms in the Gulf that night. It was dry as a bone in Galveston, though.
Now, when we got back to Galveston next morning, it was a thunderstorm Saturday morning. But it was just, so sudden. You just, cruise along smooth as anything, and sudden, you're on your side. It was wild.
That's scary since it's not expected, even more so.
Yeah. And once the ship was righted, the captain came on and he was like, wind. Oh my God. It completely caught him by surprise. He had to do some fancy pants maneuvering. And if you've ever been on a boat, and not even a ship, but just a fishing boat, and you're cruising along at full speed, and you yank that sucker over in one direction or the other, you know how that little thing acts. You see it done on a jet skis and stuff like that. You get the same type of effect in a cruise ship, which made that feeling even worse when he broke it over to the left. But in reality, what else are you going to do? He's got to get it immediately out of the wind. But yeah, it threw stuff everywhere.
Yeah. He said it would have scared the crap out of me, and I'm a big man.
It was unsettling. It was unsettling. It was, and on this one particular cruise, there was a lot of first-time cruisers. When we went to the Crown and Anchor Society thing, they put up all the numbers of the loyalty members up on a screen. So they said there was like 638 gold members. There was 180 platinums, like 80 emeralds, so forth and so forth. But out of, 3,000 passengers, less than 1,000 of them were gold and above, which means you had 2/3 of the people on the ship were first-time cruisers, first or second cruise. And then for the ship to pop over sideways like that, and not a whole lot of experience on the ship, it freaked out a lot of people that had no idea that a cruise ship could even do that. There's probably some folks that will never ever cruise again over that.
I freaked out, and I have experience.
I didn't honestly freak out all that much. I really believe that the people up there on the bridge have our absolute best interest at heart. I believe that they're not military, but they've been doing it so much and so long. They have that muscle memory that you get in the military, that a situation like that hits, that captain, he's just too much experience. He's immediately going into action, fixing the problem, and then when it's all fixed, then he's on there on the intercom going, "Hey guys, this is what happened. This is why it happened. This is what I had to do." And as soon as he said all that, I said, "Well, that explains everything I just felt." I have a lot of faith in those captains, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Too much experience, and I'm sorry, they are not handing $1 billion boat to a dumbass. They're not going to do it. I said it was a little disorientating though to have your cruise ship suddenly go sideways, and you're trying to eat your supper, and your plate just leaves you. You know, you like go to stab your food, and your plate shoots off the table.
Yeah,
that's not fun.
But I did. I wanted to get in there and help those crew members clean that mess up. I felt so bad for them.
We did not get to finish dinner, by the way.
I wasn't going to.
Yeah, Tiffany wasn't going to eat, and honestly, all the food in the buffet was on the floor at that point anyway. So dinner was cut short that evening.
Yes.
But she's right. Most people, but you could find those experienced cruisers over there.
Yeah, there were.
Because some of them were still eating.
Some of them walking through, holding their plate, like, what y'all?
There were some that were still at their tables eating. They're like, "Yep, we're good."
Yeah.
They were not going to be deterred from their dinner. Can you hit the light, baby? We're going to have a sudden burst of brightness in here. There we go. The camera will adjust. We had to keep the overhead on light because it's getting late.
Hate to see that. Yeah, the crew members have to work extra hard to clean up messes.
And they did. Close that, please, baby. And like I said, Tiffany was offering to help, but they wanted the passengers out of the area, probably because there was a lot of broken stuff too, broken plates, broken dishes, besides everything else that was on the floor. It was probably in the best interest to get all the passengers out of there so nobody got cut, injured, or hurt, or slipped in the food. I'm sure that made quite a mess.
Yeah.
But credit to the crew members. The very first thing those crew members did in the buffet was start looking after passengers. I mean, they were Johnny on the spot. And, you know, that's something that happens a lot. Even our room steward was like, that's only happened to him like 2 or 3 times in the years and years he's been on board the ships. He says, but it has happened before, he said. It's rare.
But yeah, everybody, all the crew members, even like our room steward, a couple hours after it happened, he was like, "Are y'all okay?"
But yeah, even the buffet, they were picking up people because people did fall down. You know, they got scared. No shame in any of that. But yeah, the crew, I mean, they were Johnny on the spot. They were looking after passengers, safety, caring for everybody, checking on everybody. So, Voyager, the Seas crew, y'all were on it. Kudos to you guys on the spot. And when it wasn't a disastrous event, but an event occurred, and boy, they handled it like pros. Absolute pros. And like I said, the next day, you never would have guessed it even happened. Never even would have guessed it. So, again, can't say enough nice things about that crew. Mm-hmm. But that has to have been the ugly on that particular cruise. But again, no fault of Royal Caribbean's, no fault of the ship, no fault of the captains. Mother Nature just said she was going to swat us on the side, and she did.
Yeah. Chica says hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome. But yeah, so that had to have been the ugly of this particular cruise. And honestly, if it hadn't happened, there probably wouldn't have been an ugly. I mean, honestly, a lot of times we have to look for things to even get under the bad category. And they're not even bad, they're just annoying. Not having a drink machine, it's not bad. It's just,
Annoying.
not my favorite. Not my favorite. But it is what it is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to Disembarkation. And I thought Disembarkation was going to be awful. You know how they are. Disembarkations are terrible. Not this time. Again, this crew was Johnny on the spot with it.
Yeah, I don't think you agreed with it at first, but after we did it, it went smooth. We went down into the dining room. They said, luggage goes there, go have a seat.
Yeah, and I thought about it, so okay, so we're going to line our luggage up, and you're going to go sit down, and you're going to say it's time to go, and everybody's going to mad rush this.
And they didn't.
Well, the crew was on it. They made everybody line up their luggage like the luggage was in line to get off the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people walked back over to their luggage, they were not going to let them grab their luggage and run for the door. You had to get by your luggage until the luggage line started moving, and then you could get off the ship. So we were scheduled for an 8 a.m. departure off the ship. At 7:57, we were heading over the bridge in Galveston, heading home.
Yep.
Yeah, when you see the disembarkation video, I tell you, it's 7:57. We're in the truck. We're heading home for an 8 a.m. disembark time. We were getting messages on our phone that said, hey, it's time for you to disembark. Hey, we've already left Galveston. So, again, they surprised me with disembarkation. They turned it into a non-chaos event.
Yeah, it was very non-chaotic.
And they were on the spot with it again. I was actually very pleasantly surprised. So the crew on Voyager of the Seas, they impressed me time and time again on this sailing. Crew is always impressive. They always work really hard. They always do a really great job. Crew make cruising special. But these crew members on Voyager of the Seas, boy, they were on it. They were on it. If you needed it, you wanted an Irish trash can that they never heard of, boy, they were ready to tackle it. Mm-hmm. And tackle it successfully. We asked for a mattress topper. That sucker was on our bed probably less than an hour later. Never even saw him do it.
No. But
boy, it was there. Room was clean. The wait staff, the Chops Grill servers, it was perfect. We went in the buffet one night, and the washy lady in the buffet was dressed up as Minnie Mouse. Tiffany was just having a blast.
Yes, I was. Sounds like they are very organized. Sounds like
Disembark
was way better than the chaos on Carnival Breeze. Oh, Carnival's always
Disembarkation usually is always a mess. And I've been on Royal Caribbean where they're trying to fist fight in line.
Yes.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
But no, not this time. They lined up your luggage as people, made you go sit down, and then you had to walk back to your luggage, and there was no grabbing your luggage and running. The person who got there first had their luggage up front, walked out the door first. And they made you walk, because they had us in the aft restaurant, so they had us go out the back of the restaurant, walk all the way around the aft of the ship, come all the way to keep it in a controlled line that didn't block it. They had it. Hats off to that crew.
Yes.
Yeah, if you get a chance to sail on Voyager of the Seas while she's in Galveston, go for it. The terminal's great. The ship was great. The crew was great. You're just not going to have a Coca-Cola freestyle machine.
No.
And don't get a virtual balcony because
it didn't work. A lot of times.
Spend the money on something else, in my opinion.
An Irish trash can.
Buy some extra Irish trash cans. Go see the young lady in the schooner bar. She can take care of it. And in the Starlight Lounge, I know that they will take care of it there. They'll probably, any one of them will take care of it, to be honest with you. They probably make the same drinks over and over and over again, day after day. You know, they got the little menus, got 4 or 5 drinks on it. That's what they make. I think for the most part that I presented them with something that they didn't know how to make. They hadn't heard of it. I think for them, it was like, yay, I get to do something different. And I think that made them happy too.
Dale says, just got off a Quantum yesterday. Same experience with the staff, crew members. All were very accommodating. We had the Coke freestyle machines.
It's so weird which ships of Royal have it and which ones don't. So when we went on Liberty of the Seas, she didn't have it. Adventure had it. Then we go on a really old ship like Grandeur of the Seas, which is the oldest ship in the Royal Caribbean fleet currently. She has them. Allure has them. We go on Voyager of the Seas. She doesn't have them, but she was recently in dry dock. I have no idea how they pick and choose and decide who's getting what.
Yeah.
So weird. But yeah, it's really random which ships don't have it in the Royal Caribbean's fleet. It's not, innocent. It's one of those teeny tiny little things that bugs me, but never enough to come back into a bad cruise. It's horrible. It stinks. But, you know, it's an annoyance.
Attila says, have a great evening, y'all. See you next time.
Yeah, we are fixing to hop off of here too. We have made it all the way to Disembarkation. Tomorrow will be the first sea day video will be out tomorrow morning. We did not do a whole lot on that first sea day, but the Irish trash cans are on that particular video. So you will see those on there, and that will all be out at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. But just want to let everybody know, it was a great cruise. It was a great little short vacation, and now that it's all said, it's all done, I'm ready to book another one because I want to go again. More.
Okay.
I'd like to go back to Chops Grill and have another Irish trash can.
Okay.
And go sit in those chairs on deck 4.
Yes.
The sleepy chairs.
Sleepy chairs.
I don't know what kind of, you guys know the chairs. You've seen them, the ones that are shaped like this. They look like a big letter SJ or something like that. I call those the sleepy chairs. You sit in those and you'll stay in there forever.
So,
but really appreciate everybody coming tonight, hearing our story on Voyager of the Seas. If you're watching this after the live, you have any questions, comments, or anything, let us know below. Once we get through all of the cruising videos, we will have the full ship tour. I know that's a real popular one. Everybody likes to see every other parts of the ship, and that will be coming as well. Always got to do the full ship tour. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
hit the thumbs up.
Yep, like Dale said, if you wouldn't mind, everybody hit that like button for us, please. If you haven't subscribed to our channel and want to, hit that subscribe button. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't commit you anything. Just let you know anytime we put out videos. Want to keep up with cruise news. Want to keep up with cruising videos. Want to keep up with whatever cruiser wants.
Funtails wants to know, can you get cans of Coke at the bar, or is it all fountain drinks?
If you want to purchase a sealed can, depends on the bartender. Technically, they're supposed to charge you for that. Because the fountain drinks at the bar, you're going to get your Coke, your Sprite, and your Diet Coke or fountain for the most part because they use them for mixed drinks. Your Dr. Pepper, your Sprite, your Orange Fanta, all come in a can. But they will open it, pour it in a cup with ice because they don't necessarily even use the full can, and they'll save the rest for the next person. So hopefully that answers your question. But if you want to just buy a can of Coke and take it to your room for the next day, that they're going to want you to pay for. If you like to do that sort of thing, I recommend you bring them on board the ship. If you specifically want it in a can and the ship doesn't have the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine. If it has the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine, those things are 24/7. But if they don't have them, your availability to even get something to drink is dependent on bar hours. and that's usually not till 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And that's what drives me crazy because I'm up at 4. So hopefully that answers that question.
I think so.
But all righty. So again, thank you everybody for coming tonight. I hope everybody has a really, really great night. And like always,
We'll see you out on the high seas.
good night, everybody.
Good night.